I'm not buying a lot of this shit anymore, guys. It's like the moon turns at the same rate that it goes around the Earth. How fast do they say the Earth is spinning right now? And by the way, I'm not making any statements. None. I'm just being skeptical. Isn't that what science tells us? And people's fear of discussing any of this is a red flag. When they're like, oh, God, are you one of those stupid idiots? Listen to what I'm saying. How fast does the Earth spin? 1,000 miles an hour. So 1,000th of 1,000 miles an hour is 1 mile an hour shift. If you're going 1,000 miles an hour, if it changes 1,000th, okay, let's say it changes 100th, 1%. A 1% change in speed for whatever reason, which happens. That would be a 10 mile an hour shift. Okay, have you ever been on a conveyor belt that's going 10 miles an hour and then it stops? That's what you would feel if the spin of the Earth shifted 1%. The sun and the moon travel across the sky at the same speed. Okay, now that you've justified in your mind that they're the same size, even though they're 400 times different in size, allegedly, they're traveling in 12-hour increments across the sky at the same speed. Do you know the odds that that's also true? There's no physical reason that would be. Okay, if the moon is traveling around the Earth and the Earth is traveling around the sun, why would they be going the same speed relative to our eyes? They wouldn't. The odds of that are zero. Statistically, the odds are zero. That they're the same size, they're going the same speed. Sorry. Real quick, someone said, Owen, they're not going the same speed. That's why we have the moon cycle. We have the moon cycle because of the shadow. It's a 28-day cycle because of the shadow on the moon. That's why, waning moon, new moon, full moon. It's a 28-day cycle based on how the moon appears in the sky. It is traveling through the sky at the same speed as the sun. So just look at an apple. If you're just turn an apple. Let's say you're trying to travel this way and you're going 1/3 the speed it's spinning the opposite direction. Not only would you never get to your destination, you would be going backwards. And by the way, if you can't immediately explain that, yeah, I'm sure you can look it up and talk to Bill Nye the Science Guy, whatever. The fact that you have never even thought of that means there's more to this story than meets the eye. That means you've been indoctrinated. Why do they keep selling us on the same thing? Infinite emptiness, heliocentric model, that's a cult. The sun cult. I don't know what it is. I don't. All I know is NASA lies all the time. All I know is that our observable reality is the Earth is not moving. All I know is that the sun and the moon, the sun is 400 times farther away and 400 times bigger than the moon. That's why they're exactly the same size. Do you know the odds of that? Almost zero. It's so zero that our two biggest celestial objects are exactly the same size in the sky, even though the difference in size is 400 times different in size, but yet they're the same size in the sky. That's not a natural reason. That's a lie. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's like as if, like this phone, if I just randomly held up my phone, it's the same exact size of my window, the square, exact. Except now make it huge, make it 93 million miles and just make it the only two objects in the sky, and they just happen to do eclipses perfectly. That's ridiculous. By the way, for most of human existence, no one thought the Earth was a ball spinning through infinite vacuum around a fireball. Okay, Earth's tilt is exactly 66.6 degrees. Okay, watch Google try desperately to not reveal this next. How fast is the Earth going? About 67,000. Oh, you mean 66,600 miles an hour? Okay, now that you know it's probably made up, you understand that they get to just pick these numbers. Since there is no, let's say it isn't real. Let's just say hypothetically, let's do one of those Einstein thought experiments. You get to just make up the numbers. So you're like, okay, let's say it's tilted at 66.6 degrees, but you have to inverse it, put it upside down in order to see it. How fast is it going? You know how fast. 66,600 miles an hour. It's great. If you don't find it interesting, you're hiding something. Even if you think that the Earth is a ball, just cruising around, if you don't find these the fact the sun and the moon are going the same speed in the sky and they're the same size, that doesn't, the statistical probability is 0. So, and that all the numbers around it are 666. And that if you're spinning 1,000 miles an hour, if there's a slight change in speed, you would fly through the air like you just hit a tree. And also planes wouldn't be able to operate. But there's a salt flats in South America that's like 150 miles, so you can see across. If the Earth was curved the way they say it's curved, there would be like a 8,000-foot drop. The irony is people say that you're so stupid if you question NASA's depiction of the Earth. All right, 8 inches per mile squared. Okay, how far away can a ship see a lighthouse? 42 miles away. That would fall 996 feet below sightline. No questions. Just all good. I don't think all good. There would be 1,000 feet of drop. 1,000 feet. Have you ever shined a flashlight over a 1,000-foot hole? If you're in the bottom of the hole, you wouldn't see the flashlight. Do you even know what light is? What a photon is? Oh, it's a wave and a particle. How? Care to explain how some can be a wave and a particle, depending on who you're lying to? Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up, guys. Doesn't add up one bit. So this is how lies fall apart. One honest person questioning always spirals lies. So when I thought that the vacuum of space, because I don't have an agenda. I'm not in the Flat Earth Society. I think that's a psyop, by the way. The vacuum of space doesn't suck out the atmosphere because it's such a slow gradient that up there isn't really atmosphere. That it counterbalances with gravity, inertia, all these forces so that the air molecules just kind of stay in a haze where a perfect vacuum doesn't suck it, right? That's where the planes are. If an Earth is going 1,000 miles an hour underneath a plane and a plane's going 300 miles an hour, how on earth is it traveling west to east? No one cares, huh? And when people call me stupid, you don't even know how planes work. Bernoulli's principle, none of that stuff. I look into all this stuff, and I'm not trying to make people think the Earth is flat. I can't imagine the Earth being flat. I think that's insane. That to me is so unnatural of a thought, but I mean, just all evidence says that. I mean, all navigation is based on a flat Earth. How the fuck do planes travel west to east, east to west? Do they go 1,300 miles an hour if they're going with the spin? Doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. What made the spec? What made the bang? Oh, whatever. None of it. I don't know if it's flat or not, but it's not moving. It's not moving. It's not moving, guys. There's no move. Just go on and do your own experiments. You know something's a lie when you can't figure anything out yourself, and the quote-unquote experts have all been caught lying about everything. All of it. Notice all the people saying flat Earth is a psyop? None of them say anything about any of the points I just made.